Cool, looks like we're live. Okay, so this week and last, I think, you've been voting on the altars, the new altars that are coming in. That will be the blood and soul altars. So we'll start off by showing you what we've got for those. I'll just open the correct editor here. Okay, so before we get to those, actually, I'll show you the dark altar, which we've got just here. Switch my widget off. There we go. So you can see around this sort of dark gem that resides in the middle, you can actually see it's absorbing all the light, so it's got a ring of shadow around it to kind of sit it aside from anything else. It kind of looks all spiky and evil. It's got this sort of like purple, poisonous, evil magic that comes around it. And we'll show you this area in game as well in a moment too, so you'll really get a feel for the sort of ambience that it creates within the Arceus house. As well as that, I'll just show you the other altars here as well. Hero assets, that's what these are called, we decided today.
Yeah.
We've got a folder called hero assets now, because they're not quite scenery, they're not quite props. They are hero assets. So this is the blood altar that we've got just here. You can see it's got this sort of like a red beam that shoots out the middle of it, sort of like to go straight up into the sky. And we've just got these sort of like glowing areas around the bottom from where the sort of energy is coming out of. We might do the river of blood leading into this. It just depends if we've got time, because that would require like yet another wall kit if we did a big river of blood to attach into this. So it might just be painted down using terrain, we'll see. Just let you get a good look at that. And we have bird's eye view.
Could just be placed in a pool of blood, and then you can have
That'd be great.
blood coming off of it.
I'd like it if people had to kind of like walk across the pool of blood or something.
Yeah.
Like that. Oh, I kind of swallowed my tongue almost then, that was weird. Right, so we'll show you the soul altar as well. Sloucher needs to set up. Okay, so this is the soul altar just here. This has got a vortex to the other side where all the souls reside, and it's also got the river of souls that'll be running onto either end of it, so it'll be kind of like sat across it, so it's absorbing the power of that. Some cool glowing skulls, some cool hand-painted poly-colour just there, just to give a feeling like there's light coming from it. This will be animated as well. All of the altars will be animated when we get around to the animation stage of everything. That's a really strange thing to call this altar. I don't believe it does look like that, but never mind. A bit weird.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think we should check out how the map's looking at the moment, to be honest. See if we can load up a rental. So I've just got to do this off screen a moment. I'll be with you all in a moment.
I should be writing down questions.
You should be writing down questions. Everyone, what we do throughout one of these is we show you what we've done recently for roughly about the first 10-15 minutes. And then after that, we'll do some live 3D modelling. This week, I'll be modelling the elders of House Arceus. So it'll be an NPC that wanders around the place, sort of like a new type of humanoid in a way. See you guys later. Bye. So, as well as that, we'll also be taking down questions from the chat. So if you want to ask any questions, Alfred will be writing them down whilst I'm explaining what I'm doing with the modelling. And then once there becomes a break in what I'm doing, Alfred can then ask questions, just so it keeps the conversation going.
Yeah.
Cool. Right, so let's open up a RuneScape Old School client. I've loaded the right rental, haven't I? To say, yeah, good. I have this horrible thoughts just then of like possibly like I'd obviously know, but if like RF3 loaded up with something that's just total spoiler, it never happened. Okay, never mind. Don't go there, it's not funny. Okay, cool. I'm going to give this to, actually I'll wander around Arceus first, to be honest, just so we can keep it on topic. Okay, cool. Let's just pick this guy up. Right. So this is the outskirts of Arceus. This is the sort of villages area. I'll actually walk through all this just so we're not running past everything, so you can have a good look at it. So the brickwork here was inspired by the Incas, who created these impossible structures out of these really abstract shaped bricks, and no one could ever tell how they'd been built or how they stayed up. So that's kind of the inspiration for the outer brickwork of the Arceus place. You can see what we've done here as well is we've immersed the place in absolute darkness. This is the result of the dark altar. It absorbs all light, but we still get this light that emits from these crystals around here. And also we've got light around the houses too, just so you can actually find your place to things. But you can see the horizon isn't so harsh when it pops into view now. Whereas before you'd have this massive colour and just this hard black line. It's not so much the case now. We've also got the doors which bear this emblem just here, which is the mark of the RKS house. You can actually see that on the Keeper of Keys. What do we call those?
Yeah, they're just banners, but
Yeah, like
I
a
don't
banner
know
on
what
its
the
back.
actual
There was a
is.
special name, wasn't there?
Something Japanese.
Yeah, it was
Shin
Japanese for
something.
banner really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The doors are breaking at the moment. Ignore the doors. So the interior is purple and this sort of like green colour. They kind of mix nicely with all the sort of darkness and scenery around it. The floors here are just one floor tile, which can be rotated to create multiple floors. We've got stairs around here somewhere as well, which I created the other day. So things are starting to take shape a bit more now. Do you know, I can't for the life of me find where I am on the map, which is atrocious considering I made it. It's facing the wrong way, guys. There we go. We're back. Cool, so we've got these stairs as well, just here. Look very sort of like interesting and gothic. So the whole interiors and furnitures will be made out of this sort of like a raw iron sort of look, with all the dead wood that's sort of like been used to make them as well. You can actually go up a floor now too.
I want to brighten it a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, let's bump the brightness up a bit. I always have it like marked right down, but yeah, you can actually, that's much better, Alfred. Yeah, good call. Right, so now you can actually see the screen. You can probably get a better idea of what I'm talking about now. So let's just go up a level. Telly, so it'd be 0, 2, 6, 5, 8 for this square. And it'd be 1, 2, 6, 5, 8. We have to remember all these map square coordinates so we actually know where we are. And we're on to level 1 now, so you can actually see the stairs from above. And it looks kind of cool when you look down the stairs now as well. You can actually see straight down to the bottom floor, and it's kind of a bit of a seamless join there as well. So that's something quite new. We can also just have a wander around the second floor of the other houses as well, so you can get a better feel for the place and looking at the height. You can see a few bugs here in game still, just where we've got like roofs that are floating off. We actually need like a custom lower level wall to meet that roof now, and also some custom kit to join it to the building. So we're still in the stage of actually creating the buildings, I suppose.
Yeah.
What else can we show them in this place? More stairs. Stairs is going to get boring eventually. Let's show you the Great Library as well. It'd help if I opened up the Photoshop map actually. So let's just do that as well. Okay, I'm just going to open up Photoshop so you've got an idea of the aerial view of this place as well. It also shows you the map that ModMacK made for us, which we'll be working off. So it'll be Zeah Master Map. Okay, so this is the area that we're in just now. You can see we just walked through this area just here, and this is just all the houses that we've got in this sort of like a residential area, and it all sort of surrounds the bottom part of RKS just here. And then we've got the Great Library, Dark Wizard's Tower up here, and then this area where you kind of just go out into, see you later dude, where you sort of go out into the wilderness, and not the wilderness, but you know, a sort of open terrain environment for you to explore that's not just houses. And there you can find the Dark Altar here, there'll be the Blood Altar around here too, and the Soul Altar just up here. If I actually turn this off, you can kind of just see the map that Matt drew. So we're not staying to it exactly because obviously this area just here is quite cluttered, there's not so much going on here. This is completely barren and we need to kind of just assess how much space we're giving to people. So this is kind of the final layout. So the map that you see underneath is a bit of a guide. But we'll keep walking through. Let's just go to 0, 2, 5, 5, 8, I think. Yeah, there we go. There's also double staircases as well, just for the larger buildings. Okay, so what we're going to do now, we are just here, and we're going to wander up to this Great Library building just here. I need to hurry up, we're not going to have enough time for modelling. It's me modelling this week as well.
That's cool.
Okay, so this is the Great Library. It's a huge building, absolutely massive. So let's just take a look inside. It's not been furnished yet, but this is the area where you'll have like the desk clerk and everything like that, the librarian rather, and all these massive desks around here where you have to sort of approach them. And this is where you're going to have to find out about the arcane lore as well, which Matt is going to write next week, I believe, and it will be about researching the Dark Altar, which will be one of the activities that earns you points within House Arceus. So you've got 3 wings in the library. Each one has 3 floors as well. So if I was to teleport to 0, 2, 5, 1, 2, 5, 5, 9, I think. If not, we can, oh, look at that, I got it right. Okay, cool. So yeah, this is kind of like the 2nd floor as well, just here. So we've got like big stairs leading all the way down there as well, and if I just go page up, so that'd be 2, 2, 5, 5, 9. Yeah, I believe this is the 3rd floor here. So this is really, really kind of high up, so you can get a good sort of look at the landscape down below you as well. Okay, so we're now just going to take a walk into the areas where all the crystals and altars are. There's only one altar that's been mapped down at the moment.
Doing it. Oh wait, I thought you were tapping.
Oh, that's cool. We're okay. Right, so this is outside the library. I'll just orientate you again, show you where we are. We're going to be walking along this path just here, which takes us into this sort of mountainous area with all the crystals. Not all of this is completed yet. It's just a basic mapping out to kind of give us a rough feel. So these areas aren't polished yet, so if you see anything that's kind of a bit of a discrepancy, try not to worry too much.
Should I ask some questions?
You can ask some questions if you want.
Will the blood soul altars require a talisman to enter it?
I have no idea yet. Not until we get the design from Matt. I think he's going to be fleshing out the design for that at some point.
Yeah. Because at the moment, the current altars, you have to have a tiara or a talisman and use it on the rock, and then you go inside and the altar will be in there.
I don't
so
see.
yeah, Matt will probably have to.
Yeah, I don't see why it'd be different from anything else.
Yeah.
You'll probably have to have something relevant to use it. This is the Wintertod area. That'll be released after Zeah's released. It'll be kind of a boss, the skilling boss, we're calling it at the moment. So you'll be able to access it by going through these mountainous areas in the Arceus area. What are the questions?
Will the crystals be used for anything?
No, the crystals are just for effect at the moment. We could use them for things later on, but for the time being, it's just to make this area kind of look mystical and interesting and atmospheric. Yeah. We've also got these crypts up here. There's 6 crypts. Each of them power the Dark Altar, so there's something inside of them that we don't know about yet, and you're going to have to research that to find out about it. I can't give away too much, otherwise there's no point in really playing the content.
Someone asked if Zeah is available in Deadman, which it will be. Everything that we have that will come out in the current game will also be in Deadman. Will these houses have rooftop courses, do you reckon?
Yeah, we want to do one rooftop course. House Shazian is definitely going to have an agility course, so it'll be like a training camp. But I don't know if you actually get agility through doing it. I can't see why not, but I'm not sure at the moment. I think it's mainly just to actually get you points within the house as well.
Yeah.
It'd be a bit odd if we didn't do agility for it, but I think we just want to kind of separate it out instead of just having yet another agility course. It's a good opportunity though for rooftop agility courses. I think they're the most interesting, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely, because you don't get, some people have their roof thing disabled sometimes, so it'd be cool for them to kind of force them up onto the roof and look at it. Yeah. Ooh.
So you can see as well, what I've done here is actually mapped all these crypts high up, so we actually forced the camera to come down in an interesting way when we walk into this area. We don't normally have control of the camera, but on this occasion we can kind of hack it in so it kind of behaves in the way that we want it to. You can see, without touching anything, it just comes down into this area nicely. And you can see the crystals around here are tainted as well. Around the blood altar and the soul altar, not so much because it's already got we've already got green crystals. But around the blood altar, we're going to be seeing red crystals as well.
Someone asked where Zeah is on the map.
We can show you exactly where it is on the map. We can't show you exactly where it is on the map. Have I got that image still that you sent to me?
Do. It's called Karen Map Squares. So
okay.
I'm not sure you might.
I don't know if I want to go searching through my directories.
Yeah,
sort of like whilst broadcasting.
It's on the west.
Okay, yeah. It's basically where Piscatoris Beach is. It's about 4 of these map tiles, this being a map tile, to the west. So Piscatoris Beach would be about here, where my cursor's just moving around. And you'd have Prifindas just here. It's Prifidinus.
Prifidinus, yeah.
I will get that right one day. They've had people working here for years that still go Prif and...
Yeah, a lot of these cities are quite hard to pronounce.
They are.
Will Zeah have achievement requirements achievement diary requirements. Like The Rock has some.
We were going to do achievement diaries for it. I don't want to say yes, actually, because some poor content developer's going to have to program them. They're not very nice to do.
We could have some in the future, but not when we release it. Not when we release the first batch.
Can't see why not. But what are the awards going to be?
That's exactly it. Yeah.
So
you've got to think of rewards.
That's it. Right, I'm gonna swap chairs with Alfred now, and he's going to explain what he's done for House Hostidius this week, which is the farming house.
Cool. All right.
Again, just feel free to ask questions in the chat. I'll be writing them down, and we'll be answering them slightly later on.
Okay. So some of this stuff you've seen already, but what I've improved on this week is adding a second floor kit, which is the second floor obviously, a roof kit as well, and I've added these vines across the houses, quite thick vines. Also cleaned up some of the floors, added some ladders and stuff like that. Also added some doors. As you can see, the roof is what I'm quite proud of at the moment actually, because it looks a bit like, I don't know why, but it looks like Dragon Ball Z to me because of the kind of blue domes and the orange kind of colours. Blue and orange really represent that kind of style. But these domes are meant to be like kind of glass, like just glass windows really. Wanted to give it a cool circular effect to them. There'll be big. I'll make some bigger ones that spread across 4x4s. So you have like these really big kind of glass domes that will shine onto the floor. What else can I show you? I'll run around the map and show you what this place looks like.
People are just spamming, well not spamming it, people are writing Dragon Ball Z everywhere now.
It does look a bit like Dragon Ball Z, doesn't it? Yeah, so you can see, this is what I was working on today, these vines. So yeah, it's just a modular kind of vine kit going around. I'm not really sure where else to use these other than on the corner of the houses, but I might make some paths out of them. I'm not sure yet, still playing around with them.
Someone wrote Dragon Ball Zeah, finally.
Yeah, Dragon Ball Zeah. Nice. This is the TIFF minigame. I don't know if I showed you this last week. I probably did. But this is going to be the main area for it. And this is the screenshot that Matt took the other day. Let's see. What else is there to show? Let's go to the coastline.
Try to walk around a bit more, just so people aren't just being sort of thrown left, right, and centre.
Alright, let's walk around.
You can show the map as well. You just open that up. This one to explain where we are on the map.
Cool. We, at the moment, are just here. Actually, wait, let's just double check that. 2757. Yeah, we're at 2757, so let me zoom out of this a little bit more. We are over here near the coastline. There'll be 2 taverns in Hostidius. I'll take you to one tavern. Should be up there. There we go. This tavern's basically an outside kind of tavern. So it's quite different to all the other taverns. All of the other pubs and stuff are inside. It's pretty cool to have like a beer garden, but inside of a pub. It's pretty cool. I'll show you the second floor. Isn't anything special, but let's see. 2652. Okay. But yeah, as you can see, we're using the same floors as we did for the Halloween event. They kind of match the wall kit, so I thought it was best to go with this. We did have, initially we had a darker colour floor, but it just wasn't really working well with the light wall kit. Let's see if there's anything down here.
What are the 3 asterisks?
3 asterisks. Probably someone swearing.
Oh, okay. What word has like 3 though?
It's probably...
It's normally 4, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out, because like, the only word I can think of with 3 is spelt incorrectly. It means some sort of donkey. I don't really get it.
3 by default apparently.
Oh, 3 by default, okay, fair enough.
Yeah. So this is what I've done for Assidious. What I'm next going to be working on is this little area here. This area is going to be the separation between Shazian and Assidious, sorry, yeah. This is going to be a vine house. It's going to have glass panels. It's going to be quite large and dome-like as well. Yeah, there's going to be vines growing inside, coming out. It's going to be really cool looking and stuff. I'm not sure what this is going to be used for content-wise, but I know it's going to look cool. And it's also going to be used for the TIFF minigame. It's going to be covered in this whole kind of glass-panelled greenhouse.
Just to mention as well, people, this is the 3rd week of development, isn't it?
Yeah, this is 3rd week.
We've actually got 10 weeks to develop it in total.
And yeah, we've got... It'll look a lot nicer when there's actually grass and stone mapped on the grounds and stuff like that.
So if anyone feels it's quite empty at the moment, we're just having to map down the buildings and just get a basic layout sorted, and then we fill it with all the like small props and stuff.
Yeah, so that's everything for what I've done for Assidious this week, and what I'm going to be doing this week and next week as well.
Cool. Right, okay, it's time to model, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, just a few questions to start with. I'll keep the pad and just ask them.
Yeah.
Will render distance ever be increased? What I'd like to do is not actually, I don't think we can increase the render distance anyway, even if we wanted to, because it'd lag people out too much. So the answer is no to that, but what I'd like to see would be a slight fading on the edge of this black, just so it's not quite so harsh, probably about 1 tile long, but apparently we can't do that because it wouldn't actually fade it around the horizon that you see going completely around you. It would actually fade diagonally straight across the front here. So if we attempted to do any fogging either, this whole section up from where my cursor is going would be completely, you know, white or black, whichever colour fog we decided to do. So we can't do fogging either. I don't really think the view distance needs to increase too much. It would be kind of nice for us guys, but it's been that way and it's kind of old school, so maybe we should keep it that way too. What else? How do we get to Zeah? There's going to be a few ships dotted around the mainland. I think Port Sarim might be
there's
the
definitely
main
going
one.
to be one. Yeah.
And then probably on Piscatawrus Beach, we spoke about as well.
Yeah.
Is part of Zeah free to play? Yeah, I think there is going to be some free to play areas on Zeah.
I didn't know this. I don't know.
Did you not? No, I'm sure we are doing like a free to play area, so you can at least sort of wander around it a bit.
Yeah.
I don't know how much of it you can interact with. Is Zeah Elf City for Old School? Not really, no. It's not kind of like an easier way to... Well, I don't really know what Elf City is for RS3, to be honest.
I think it's a big skilling city pretty much.
Yeah,
as well.
You've got to be like above level 70 or something.
Yeah, you've got to be pretty much maxed to get in, I think. I don't play RS3, but I'm sure you have to be quite high level to get in Elf City.
So the reason why this differs is it's all new content. It's not giving you sort of like easier or more convenient ways to play the game. And it's available to people at all skill levels, so it's definitely not Elf City. And it's also just a massive island filled with lots of cities, if anything.
Yeah, we could actually, I think.
With its new beach.
Yeah, basically the new coastline that I put onto it.
Okay, sure. Do you know what the map square is for that?
If we
just look at this and then we can just
it
count
should
across.
just be 4 across, yeah. So 28, no, sorry. Try 33,
32,
57.
57.
32,
Fine, yeah. Tally 0, 3.
So we're going to show you what Piscatawrus looks like with its new kind of beach. It might be 33.
That's fine, we can just jump over here. Can't do that.
So basically this is just the new kind of, not really new, but it's just some mapping we've added on extra towards the beach. Because at the moment, what it had before was just black squares, and we wanted to kind of fill it out with sea and terrain. I think it's south.
No, this isn't Piscatawrus, is it? It's going completely the wrong direction.
I think it is. If you go south, and then it should be this way. Yeah, so this is just a new area. You'll still need to kind of fix it, but it's not. There's nothing there. It's just terrain at the moment.
There's nothing exciting, but at least we've got a coastline for the entire west side. Yeah. So there's no sort of black void anymore. So that's something, isn't it?
Still needs to be smoothed out, but yeah, we've filled out the map squares, and there will be something on the map instead of just black squares. Yeah.
Right, I'm going to model something now. How much time have I got? Oh, I've got an hour to do an entire NPC. This will be good. Right.
Animations and rigging.
Why are you even saying that? It's never going to happen.
Yeah.
before.
Cool. I'll write down some questions.
Okay.
Cheers.
So while we wait for 3ds Max to load, we're going to be creating an NPC, which will be one of the elders for House Arceus. They're going to be sort of hooded figures, and they're going to levitate around the place. They are masters of necromancy, and they've ascended to become, in a way, a being that's in between life and death. So they're no longer living, but they are humanoid still. So I'm going to explain what I'm doing as I go, and hopefully I won't lose you too much. So what I'm doing here is I'm opening up the snaps option. What that allows me to do is to snap whatever object I draw to the grid. You can see that arrow's now appeared, so we draw a square primitive just here. I then convert that to an editable polygon object. That means that I can edit its properties. We select some edges just here, and we divide the polygons in half. I then go into a left orthographic view, which allows me to, let's do front orthographic view, that's more logical. Okay, I'll just divide down the centre here again, and I'm using the jagex controls. So I'm using controls from another program that we use, the in-house tools, so it's just really confusing why it's not doing what I want it to do. I think we're there now though. Okay, so we pull this down for the shoulders, and we just select this front one, and we can make the nape of the neck. This is the two clavicles going up here. We then create a division across the middle and select that and raise it up to make the pectoral muscles. Okay. What I tend to do is have the chest pointing down like this, and we'll create the diaphragm later on top of that. Now if we go into a side view, you can see that this thing's looking very sort of disproportionate and out of shape, so we then slim it down to give it the sort of chest poking out just here. And we pull in the back of the neck and shoulders just here. I like to keep the scapulas pointing out. Scapulas are shoulder blades, and then we just move the back in just here again. We can then start slimming in the waist if we go into a back view, and we slim it in like so. There we go, we've got something that's starting to look a little bit like a torso now. The back's a bit hunched still, but we can correct that. We now select this top vertex just here, vertex rather, and we just join up these dots here. Have we got many questions coming in?
Yeah, quite a bit.
That's cool. If you ask away, I can answer.
Will we ever have particle trails like the RS3 Maxcape does?
Unfortunately, we can't do particles because that requires us to create individual textures which are seen on particles that move around. The problem we'd have with that is we have no way to actually project textures. By that I mean assigning a polygon to actually project a texture onto the existing polygons. That kind of makes me go cross-eyed, so apologies if it does for you too. But basically we just haven't got the tech to do it like RS3 does, so we're just going to have to stick to making particle effects out of polygons, using transparency, neon colours, things like that to make them appear as if they're glowing. The end. What's the next one?
Okay. Will Swan Song needs to be completed to access Zeah at the moment you need it to enter Piscaridius? I think it will be off the beach just south of Piscaridius, so you wouldn't need to
Piscatoris, like the Piscatoris beach.
Yeah.
That's fine. There's going to be other ships.
Yeah.
There's going to be other ships coming to Zeah. There'll be one at Port Sarim, so it's not really too much of an issue.
Yeah, true.
We don't want to make it inaccessible to people. We want to make it as accessible as possible, actually, so that most people can interact with it. Otherwise, there's no point spending so much time on it. So don't worry, there won't be many exceptions for you not to be able to get there, if any. Probably the biggest exception that I could see would perhaps if we make it not free to play, then you'd have to have membership, but that's about all I can think of.
Do we have the ability to add skyboxes in Old School?
You can't look up in Old School, so there's not really too much point. If we did have a skybox, you'd just see the horizon, and it would just be like this strange sort of picture instead of the darkness. As well as that, we couldn't have a skybox because that again uses a texture. Anything that's kind of like a painted pixel image is a texture, so we'd have to use a very small resolution texture for it, and it would just look like a giant blur that you wouldn't even be able to make out.
Really small.
That'd be insanely small. That would be about 64 pixels by 64 pixels.
Crazy small. Will there be new farming items with Hesidius? There will be. There'll be loads of new farming items.
You can answer that one because I've read the doc.
I'm not exactly sure. I'm not exactly sure what ones there are, but I know there will be quite a few. Be specific tools for that house.
Is that it? Is that your
Yeah,
answer?
that's my answer.
I know there will be some.
There will definitely be some, but I need to look into the jobs. Will there be a bunch of PVM content coming out of Zeah?
There will be some. There will be some. It'll be for House Shazian more than anything. You'll be fighting the lizard people, who are kind of mutants, which exist in this sort of barren wasteland, which is left over from the wars that took place prior to the current political situation in Zeah, which is 5 houses all cooperating. So from when they weren't cooperating, we'll get to see the remnants of that and the mutants that were left behind. So that'll be where most of the PVM comes in. I don't really know if there's going to be any more other than that.
Someone asked, how is a new farming house not going to devalue the farming skill? There are like 30 farming patches there. No, there aren't.
No,
I think the 30 farming patches that you saw were actually the TIFF mini game.
You keep saying TIFF. It's the Tithe mini game.
Oh, is it Tithe? Okay, it's Tithe.
What the Tithe mini game is back in the olden days, you used to have to, when you farm crops, you used to have to pay a tithe to the Lord of the land. So the whole idea is that the activities that take place in the Tithe mini game, you lose a percentage of whatever you gain, but you gain a percentage of it and you get to keep it. So it's kind of working on that same principle. So you're essentially giving money to the head of House Osidius, so you can actually farm there. The farming patches aren't going to be specifically for things that are currently existing in game. We're going to have new crops, and there's going to be more agricultural farming as well. It's not so much just
plowing fields and stuff like that.
That's it, yeah. So it's mainly going to be new farming activities. We're not really going to be replicating too much, just because, as you say, it devalue things. It make things that are on the mainland pointless if we just duplicate them on Zeah, which we're not going to do.
Someone asked, why are the buildings 5 times bigger than everything on the current map?
We wanted to...
Go on, yeah, sorry.
Oh, you can't answer that, okay.
No.
The walls, do you mean bigger in scale?
In scale, yeah.
Like, as in like the...
As in like just the buildings, they're so big compared to everything in RuneScape.
Oh, right, okay. I don't think they're too big, to be honest. But which buildings do they mean specifically?
They didn't say,
ones?
no, but I think that there are some small buildings, there are some large buildings. I mean,
my answer to that would actually be, there's no point, because like if you look at Varrock, it's just tons and tons of empty buildings. That's what we actually consciously tried to avoid in this situation. We didn't just want to create like a ghost town where we can't actually write enough content to fit what's actually there. So we're only really using buildings for an actual purpose. We're not just making buildings just for the sake of fleshing out the area. So things probably look a bit bigger. You have got some larger buildings, but they'll belong to sort of grander NPCs really, so there is a purpose for them.
Most of the houses actually have uses, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. So it's not just like dead content that we're injecting into the game then.
Yeah. Someone asked, will there be new quests with Zeah?
We get asked this question a lot actually, which is nice because it means people want quests. We're going to release Monkey Badness first and see how that goes down, and then if that's successful, then we can consider doing quests for Zeah. We don't want to bog ourselves down with too much to do. We just want to get the content, the sort of like basic content out there first. I would love to do a quest for Zeah though. It'd be a really good way to introduce people to the elders, which aren't really going to feature, the head of the houses, which aren't going to feature in phase 1.
Just to confirm what someone said, the first part of Zeah that we're releasing is just skilling, and it won't be increased XP rates. It will just be fun training methods than what you currently have. Will Zeah bring a handful of new items into the games, weapons, herbs, potions, or will it just be a new content continent? I think we will be bringing in new items, but they won't be the best items in game. They'll probably be similar or just as good as current items.
House Shazian, if you're wondering about PVM items, is going to, combat items, is going to be the one which has the most. It'll have a new mage kit, a new melee kit, which I think is in the form of a Shazian armour, like a Shazian soldier, and also have a dragon warhammer as well, I think, which is going to be introduced. Any more questions?
I haven't got any more written down. Or...
That's fine, I can always talk while
if you guys want to ask more questions, just type them in the chat and write them down.
Okay,
will there be new mini games in Zeah? I think everywhere there'll be mini games all dotted around Zeah. That's what's going to make it fun, really. Yeah. think I'll go into details of that. I think it's just like
you can go into details of anything you want. It's old school, so we can just discuss everything. It's the whole
there'll be some thieving mini games where you can rob people and then return those items for faction points and stuff like that. It'd be pretty funny.
Yeah, that was really interesting when we read the document. Yeah, this particular part of the map is really impoverished, and they've got a low standard of life. Oh yeah, we'll put all the thieves there and have people like you. So bit strange. Never mind. Okay, so I'm going to apply a symmetry modifier to. Oh, okay. So I just cut this model in half, just like that. And then I apply a modifier just here from the list called symmetry, which I can find just by pressing S on my keyboard, and it should snap to it. There we go. And what that does, it creates a line of symmetry down the middle, so I only have to model half of this now, and then I can just collapse that modifier on top of this, and it will just bake, that's the wrong term, isn't it?
Yeah.
Then it will just weld all of that together. Using incorrect terms, we'll never use the term bake in old school.
Unless you're actually making a cooking pot or something, or cooking oven.
Very good.
Sorry, I've been away from Old School Runescape for a while. Can you explain what Zeah is, please? So Zeah is a big continent that we're going to be releasing in January, the first batch anyway. Initially, it's going to be the first batch that we're releasing is going to be a skilling continent called Korend. There'll be 5 houses there. Each house represents certain types of skills, and you'll have to earn faction points with these houses to gain rewards and better cool training areas to I can't really think cool training areas to use within that house.
You're really selling it, Alfred.
Yeah.
You're really selling it. It's cool. I'm busy modelling, so I'm just going to carry on doing this. You're on your own.
Yeah, there'll only be 5 houses, but the houses will have skills. So like Hesidius is cooking and farming. Shazian is Slayer and all of combat, I think.
Shazian is Slayer, and it's so each of these houses is going to encompass specific skills.
Yeah. But if you go on the 2007 RuneScape wiki, there you go. You can find out everything about Zeah.
I think the whole point was for you to read off that, Alfred.
Yeah, I know, but it's better if people read it because I'm not a.
It's going to be so obvious if you read, isn't it?
You're so scripted.
We don't do subtlety on this broadcast. No.
We'll also have a prayer update. I think we're not going to have a prayer update, but we're going to... Oh no, actually we could. We're going to have augury and the other prayer thing, but I'm not sure how we're going to implement it yet. What are those blue ball things on top of buildings at the farming house? Oh, those are windows on top of the... Those are domed glassed windows on top of the roof kit. On the roof kit of Hesidius. Will there be a wilderness in Zeah?
No.
No.
Oh, there kind of will be. Like outside of House Shazian, where you've got like the place where that war took place, which actually caused people to decide to cooperate. There will be an area which is completely barren, and there will be fraught with danger if you go out there. That's actually where you fight some of the other lizard people, like the larger, more boss-style lizard ones, to actually get the sort of new mage kit that we're going to be releasing.
Oh, what are faction points? Faction points are basically points that you gain with a house that you've assigned yourself for. So if you go to Loverking and you want to do say if you want to do smithing and mining and stuff, you're a smithing and mining skilling person, you can go to that house and then you can do certain things for the king there or the leader there, and he'll give you points which you can spend on different types of rewards.
It's basically improving if you do things to help improve each of the houses' political position within Korend, to make them more powerful, they're going to do things to reward you for doing those activities. That's kind of like how the story goes. So when you play through this content, you'll get to immerse yourself more in it, I suppose, as you go along by actually doing these things and unlocking bits of content. So it's a way of us not just giving you the content, but making you work for it as well. and making you feel like you've actually achieved the content as opposed to just played through it and moved on.
Someone asked what progress has been made from that plant I made last week. Nothing yet. I've been doing roof kits and wall kits, trying to fix those and adding stuff into the map. But this week and next week I should be doing more plant things, which I can show on Twitter, I think. Well, actually, no, I'll just show it in next week's stream. It's better that way. Somebody asked you to add bigger melons because they find pixels attractive.
Bigger melons?
Yeah.
What do they mean? I'm not doing melons.
He might have said that for Sidious. But
okay.
He could have said it for your character as well.
Why would my character have melons?
Yeah, no, right.
No idea.
Yeah, a bit weird of that person to ask. Can you be assigned to more than one faction, and can you choose a different faction once you are locked in it? I don't think you'll ever be locked into a faction. You only, well, what you can't. How do I explain this? Okay, so you go to a faction, you assign yourself to it, you gain points. Say you gain like 1,000 points in that faction. Other factions will start to dislike you. You won't be able to use their training methods or their grounds or whatever. So you're going to have to prove yourself to them and get points to balance yourself out. So maybe you can use Sidious for one thing, and then you can use Shazian for another thing. So you really got to balance yourself so you don't get too much hate from one house.
Haters gonna hate. No, is that not cool? Have I said something uncool? Shouldn't have said that.
What are you currently designing? Someone's asking.
Okay, this is one of the Archaeus Elders that I'm designing here. They're going to levitate around the place, and they'll be like the head necromancers slash carriers of the story arc of Archaeus, I suppose. So you'll interact with these people to progress through the content and acquire new knowledge on what you're actually doing. And there'll also be some lore attached to some of the more select ones. You'll have variations of them, like you'd have priest variations, warrior variations, and things like that. At the moment, I'm just doing a basic variation, so this would just be your standard citizen. Their eyes will also be covered by this hood, and you'll just see these glowing eyes from underneath the hood looking back at you whenever you interact with them. And they'll be very sort of spooky and mysterious creatures to kind of match that shadowy land that they live in.
Someone asked, why don't you use a template humanoid model and then edit it? Can you scroll up? I can go up a little bit. And then edit to create human NPCs easier.
We do with the player NPCs, but for this one, I kind of don't like to do that just because I've got an idea in my head of how to make it. And instead of working from a template, cutting off the legs here and adjusting some verts on the hips and having to expand out the arms and then create these shoulder plates and then make a hood which isn't even on the template, same with the shoulder plates. For models like this, I just prefer to just get stuck in and model it, because at the moment it's taken me like 10 minutes to do this. If I was doing it the other way around, it'd probably take me a wee bit longer. So I'd also like to start from scratch sometimes, because it just gives me a better creative direction as opposed to working from something that's already pre-established too.
Can we have something that shows up what faction likes us, kind of like the approval rate in MISC and Exterior?
Yeah, there will be an interface to show which faction you're with and sort of how many points you've got with that faction. ModMaz is currently, or has currently, designed a system which will regulate how you get your points. So that's already been thought of. Also for like neighbouring houses, if I show you on the map just here, it's a bit difficult to explain this because it's not divided up, but say if we've got Archaeus over here and we've got Piscarilius just here, you won't lose as many faction points if you go with a neighbouring house. However, if you're Archaeus and you go with Hasidius, which is over here, because you've got a city in between you just there, you're kind of like the distance is a lot further apart, so they're going to be more odds for each other because their cultures have got less of an understanding of one another. So the sort of prejudice that each house is going to have is going to be focused on the ones that are furthest away, and because they've got neighbouring houses, everyone's got to get along with their neighbours, right, for an easy life. It'll be a lot less harsh if you go to those houses.
Will there be any underwater content in Zeah?
I'd love to do some, but there's not, unfortunately. I would very much like to do some at some point, though.
How long do you think about what you're going to make before you're actually going to create it? I think it just comes to us, really.
Very short period of time. I'd say, like, it depends. If I'm actually doing the design on a piece of content as well, then I'll spend a fair amount of time thinking about everything. With the case of Zeah, someone else was doing the design and there's so much work to get through. It's kind of a bit unique in that we don't really have too much time to think. We've just got to say, it's got to look like this. Farming place, so what do farming places have? Do a quick Google search on farms and things, and then just quickly knock it all together. Otherwise, it's just not going to get done, unfortunately.
Someone asked, do I need combat to enter Zeah? You don't need any combat to enter Zeah. You can go in with a skilling pure, perfectly fine. Is there a possible alternate teleportation device to access Zeah, i.e. jewellery or teleports? I think there will be in the future. Yeah.
I don't know. It might be something that you perhaps get from a house as a reward for being loyal to them. Maybe House Arceus, as their magicians, could provide you with artifacts that allow you to teleport to various altars, I suppose. Maybe you could access those altars through the Abyss, I'm not sure. So we just have to see how the content progresses.
Someone asked, have you ever modelled something and finished the model, then didn't like the end product and then just scrapped the model?
All the time.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever scrapped completely the whole model. I might delete most of it and then reuse the bits that I did like and then try and improve it from there. But yeah, it's annoying when you've got to do that. How will the XP rates per hour rate be compared with the current XP rates on Old School right now? We're not going to be surpassing those. We're not going to have better training methods. It's going to be the same, but a funner way of doing it. What type of grass are you guys planning to use? A buffalo grass, so Walter grass, or simply just zoysia grass? Damn, this guy likes foliage. I like you. Green grass. Any type of.
A dwarf foliage artist.
Yeah, no. For Hesidius, probably going to use some wild grass, some long wild grass and some short wild grass. Not any particular specific ones, because why go into that much detail?
I think as well we can only make the silhouette of something, and even something like crazy like a fern would just be impossible for us, just because that's too much detail and it just look really messy. So basically silhouettes of plants, so you can say, oh, that's a plant, and that's about it, isn't it? Yeah.
Someone asked, are you going to do a Christmas house theme for construction?
No, we haven't got time, unfortunately. I'm not sure what the Christmas event's going to be. Matt's just taken the design of it, so he'll be developing that in the next few weeks, and I'm sure he'll keep you updated on Twitter as to what it'll be. Or it might just be a surprise, I don't know, because holiday events, although we do poll them, don't we? They're kind of things that don't really, that a lot of the community feels don't need to be polled. I'm neither here nor there on it, to be honest, but I don't think it's kind of a thing that we poll normally.
Would it be possible to have roofs turned on, but when you hover your mouse over a roof, it gets removed so you can click inside the building? I think we can only do that with the camera. I'm going to have to ask Ian about that.
What we'd have to do is, like, we map down remove roof, so when your player's located in an area, the roof will be removed. The other option is if a camera intersects with the roof, then the roof gets removed. What we can't do is say a cursor is here, therefore the roof gets removed, because our engine doesn't work like that. I don't really know if it's possible to make the engine work like that either. But it would be very annoying if you're kind of like moving your mouse across the screen and you clip with tons of roofs and they sort of like pop on and off as your cursor goes flying past them. I don't think your browser would really appreciate you making so many changes to the map like that, and it would probably lag you out a lot.
Someone asked, are there any rivers in Zeah?
There are rivers in Zeah. I think the key ones that I've been asked to make are the River of Souls and River of Blood in the Arceus area, which will be leading to the Bloods and Soul Altars. As far as we can look on this map, actually, see if we've got any other rivers.
There aren't any like proper rivers going through the cities and stuff. I don't think there's enough space for it at the moment.
There isn't. No, not really.
It would be cool though, definitely. Like Lumbridge has that cool little river in the middle of it. And that's nice. But we don't have space for it at the moment.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to move. Oh, actually, I'm just going to put some trims on the sleeves and stuff. Maybe we'll need them.
Is there going to be new armour, for example, something like granite, but better or worse? I think we are going to have new armour with the Shazian house.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the stats are on them. Do you know if they're going to be any good or?
The armours, I don't know what the stats are. There's actually going to be, it just reminded me when I was reading through the documentation and making the jobs actually, there's actually going to be 5 new kits. Each one scales in how good it is, and you'll have to get it through actually taking part in the training camp where you have to fight NPCs or teach NPCs how to fight with the new weapon, I think. Yeah. So yeah, there is going to be a lot of new armour with Shazian. That's kind of the big sort of PvM, PvP house.
Please make a river running across Assidious. I'd like to do that. I'm going to talk to Matt about that. I'd really like to see that.
I think
obviously it needs water, like for all the plants and stuff.
Yeah, it makes sense, doesn't it? But then they are surrounded by a giant ocean at the same time.
It is, yeah. It's right next to the coast.
Not that you can use salt water
exactly
on plants. That's a bit of a dumb thing to say.
Maybe just put a well in there and lie.
There was a famine that year because they followed Gareth's advice and used the sea.
Will Zeah be expanded further into the future, or even more than the planned stages? That all just depends on how well Zeah goes, really.
I think like we're aiming for it to be successful. So that's kind of like the approach we're taking. Like positive mindset. Yes, there will be, because we're going to make this content really good, and the vast majority of people will enjoy it. I think that's the way we have to go.
Fair enough. Will there be any Easter eggs or hidden content in Zeah? That's something for you guys to find out.
Yeah,
tell you.
Ash is going to be writing all of it, so he's bound to put some in.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
couldn't imagine him not. Okay. This needs to be scaled up a lot, doesn't it? Look at that, it's tiny. Okay, so this is the typical problem that we have with our editor. You can see this NPC's been crushed. Just because it's too small when it's been imported. See what happens if I shrink it even more. You can see it gets crushed again, and crushed again, and crushed again. This is what all that noise is when you see things move in game. Because we've got this pixel grid that all of these verts have to snap to. That's all these dots in between the lines. That pixel grid's only got a limited amount of space, so as soon as we start shrinking stuff down, you get the same verts all sticking to the same spot.
Gareth, a good workman never blames his tools.
Oh, is they writing that?
No.
Writing that in chat?
He surely wrote it.
I was going to say, don't learn that phrase.
Will there be new rooftop agility courses? Yeah, we answered this earlier. We do plan on having some new ones, especially in Shazian.
Yes. Yeah, it's going to be a whole obstacle course in Shazian. It's going to have about 10 obstacles in it, I think. Yeah, it's going to be great.
Any cool stuff you have seen in other games that you would like to add to RuneScape? I'd say Battle Royale and H1Z1, but we already kind of have that. Just have its own mode. That'd be awesome. And then again, artistically, I'm not really sure.
Can't remember the last time I had a chance to play a computer game now. That is really bad. I'm just here all the time.
Mounts is pretty cool.
Mounts, I'd love to do mounts.
Will there be new
that's the
paints
one.
for the rune items according to which house you are in alliance with? No.
Will there be what, sorry?
New paints for the rune items.
Oh, how do you mean new paints?
As in, I think you meant new colours for rune, but why would it just be rune? Will there be new mining spots? Yeah, there'll be loads of cool new mining spots in Loviking, which is the mining and smithing house. Will God Wars dungeon gear become obsolete with the release of this new gear? No, it won't. I think the God Wars dungeon gear will probably still be the best. Yeah, it'll be the best gear. We're not going to be making better gear than what we currently have. Oh, as in new paints? Okay, I see what they mean. Do you know that thing with family paints where you have where you can assign yourself to a family in Falador or Varrock, and then your shield changes look.
Okay.
And puts the herald onto the shield.
Yeah, we can do something like that, but
that'd be pretty cool.
That would be like a nice to have right at the end of everything. I think that looks awful in green. Yeah, right at the end we can look at doing stuff like that, but for the time being we're just going to focus on getting the content out. I'm getting sick of myself saying that.
Someone's asking.
Right, so at the moment I'm creating an Arceus Elder, and this is kind of like a hooded figure that's going to wander around the Arceus area. This is basically the general populace. They're necromancers, they hide their faces, you'll have glowing eyes under their hoods, and they're kind of like not quite human anymore. They're somewhere in between life and death. So whilst they look humanoid, they are very much not so anymore. Okay, so I'm just selecting some polygons on the model, and we're going to be colouring this in polygon by polygon, just to add further detail to it. After this video's gone out, you'll also be able to catch it again on YouTube, and I can show you the finished design if we don't have time to complete it here today.
Someone asked, can we let users write quests? Yeah, you guys can help design quests. If you just, if you're a really keen quest writer, why don't you write us a quest, and we might be able to use some of your ideas in the quests that we're going to be making in the future.
I think it sounds like a great idea.
Yeah.
I think the main thing is so that the quest is of a good quality. So if someone wrote in with a quest that was absolutely amazing and we read it, it'd be like, wow, we can't help but not make this. It's really good. But if we're just going to make a quest just purely for the sake of making it because we're doing some sort of competition thing for players, that's a lot of dev time to put in for something like that. I'd say probably that sort of thing's better reserved for like bespoke items or small events and things like that, instead of us hedging like a whole month or two of development time based on the concept that we're creating something from the community.
Yeah.
So it's more about the quality of it. So if someone writes in with an amazing quest, then obviously yes, we will definitely make that. If we've got a quest penned in and we have time to do it.
Someone asked what's the name of this program that you're currently using?
The name of this program that I'm using at the moment is called Jagged. It's an in-house tool which was designed a very long time ago when RuneScape was first going into development with a whole team, I think. I don't know when this particular edition of the tool's from. I assume it's from 2007, but I could be wrong. Okay, so I'm just creating the eyes on this NPC now. What I'm doing is just having them floating where the face is just there. I don't need to have any attaching geometry, but you can see the complications we have is we have this render order issue, which is the bane of my life sometimes. So what I have to do is just select this render order button. You can see everything's been labelled just here. So we have 5 and we have 6. The 6 takes precedence over 5. So everything on the outside of this hood, or actually what I could do is I just select these and make these a 5, and then I select everything on the inside of this hood and make that a 4. This will render underneath that, but then we have the complication that everything else renders through it. Ah, boy. So what I need to do then is make it so we've got an extra cut just here, and let's put some extra cuts in just here. So I select the edges to create these cuts. Is there anything I need to read in chat there?
Oh no, it's fine.
Bring to front option, okay.
Okay, so what do you think about adding new hair or beards into the game? Yeah, it's pretty cool. We speak about this quite a lot, actually, don't we?
We do, yeah. I think people just want their characters to look a specific way.
Yeah.
I've got no problem with it. I suppose, like with Zeah, we will have NPCs with new beards, so I don't see why we can't actually do a bit of a crossover there and actually include the beards. People have asked for features or characteristics there if one of us has a beard or one of us has a haircut they want in game. That's something that I don't really want to do. Just because I don't think I'm relevant enough to actually have any part of my body placed into RuneScape. I'm not really that integral to the game, to be honest.
I really want to have a Mohican in game, like a really big Mohican, like they did in I think it was EOC or 2011 RuneScape. I'm not sure which one it was, but they had it.
What did you say?
Sorry. But yeah, it had really cool hairstyles back then. Someone asked, is it easy to find a job in 3D modelling? don't think we're experienced enough to say so.
I'll be honest, me personally, I found it very difficult to find a job in 3D modelling. But then the approach that I took was to come to a games company and work as a QA tester and try to infiltrate the art department to get a job.
That's the best way to go about it,
yeah.
Definitely.
I didn't really rely on my portfolio or anything like that, or actually send off for interviews. It's pretty much the best way that I thought to get in, because they can just ignore anything that you send to them, but if you're actually there, stood in front of them, talking to them, it's a lot easier to actually get the attention you need to get a job. So that's what I did.
Cool.
You applied though, didn't you?
Yeah, I applied when the job came out first for an artist position. I applied, and obviously I played a lot of RuneScape back then, and I did a lot of 3D modelling. So I was the best candidate for the job, I think. So yeah. Anyway, is there an origin to these guys that you're making?
They were once human. They studied magic, specifically necromancy. They then got so immersed in this new type of magic that they went too far with it, and it ended up taking over their body and placing them in a sort of living limbo. So whilst you can see these robes on top of them, what you can't see is what it turned them into underneath, which is essentially, if you can imagine something like this, a creature which exists in between the planes of life and death. I imagine it as kind of a shadow-like creature with just glowing eyes that looks kind of hideous and deformed, which manages to take a shape that's more humanoid whilst it's wearing these robes. So I would love to have it so at some point we get to see what's under the robes and make it very sort of like surreal and interesting to match the themes of like the Dark Altar and the Soul Altar, etc.
The chat's a bit, it's gone off for a bit, but we're looking to fix that at the moment. So you guys can bear with us for a bit.
Sorry guys, it looks like we've lost chat for the time being. I'll just talk and we can just sort of go over what I'm doing at the moment. So what I tend to do is just imagine that there's a light shining from above, depending on the sort of atmosphere that I want to create for an NPC. Because he's kind of plonked in darkness, it seems like appropriate, well he will be when he's in game, to make the light come from above, so it just feels like everything else in the area. What with the light spreading out from the bottom of the crystals, with the light spreading out from the bottom of the houses, we can have a light spreading in on top of the NPCs to add a contrast in light direction. So what I've done here is actually painted it all sort of this deep blue colour, and then we've got this light areas which are actually shining down from above. I'll need to tweak this as I go, so it's not perfect at this stage, but I really didn't want that here. Another thing we can't do is we can't adjust the way these polygons get cut up into triangles and jagged. So what we have to do is we actually have to delete them, and then we have to build them again. And you can see we get problems when we do that, because there's some that behave like we want them to, and others that do exactly what they were before, and this is again one that's not really behaving like I want it to. So we have to mess around for a little while. It's faster than just exporting it again and editing it in 3ds Max, and more convenient for the time as well.
I think the chat...
Have we got chat back yet?
Yeah.
It's not a problem.
Yeah, we'll be back in a second
carry on
anyway.
talking. Apologies everyone, we can't seem to get the chat back on. Is it a problem with the website, or is it a problem with us?
No, it's just... oh, here we go.
There we go, we're back on.
Sorry about that, guys. Oh, God. Well done. Yeah, if you guys want to submit some questions, because I'm all out of questions, and I need questions to annoy Gareth with.
But your questions don't annoy me.
Oh, damn it.
Don't put words in my mouth.
Bring
You're
more
trying to
annoying
turn them
questions.
against me, aren't you?
No.
You want them all for yourself.
Could there be an alternate version of the black skin from Halloween with actual shading and a different eye colour? I think it'd be awesome to have a different eye colour with the complete black skin. I mean,
Wicked,
it's
wouldn't it?
just
Yeah.
it's completely black. I think with some different eye kind of shading, it would look definitely a lot cooler. Will there be any new armour coming with there? Yeah, there'll be new armour with the new Shazian house.
Yeah, that's
there'll
right.
be new mage kits, new melee kits.
I could probably show them the new mage kit now, to be honest.
Yeah.
but I'll show you the new mage kit before we leave tonight. It needs to be edited a lot still, but it was a mage kit that I made a while ago and we just didn't use, so I can edit it and make it very interesting looking. It's kind of made out of bits of rock that are all cracked and have this strange sort of like pink-purple glow to them, but we'll remove the whole pink-purple thing and make it red, I think, which we can do in the editor before we leave.
That's a lot of questions. Will the new Zeah content contain weapons with bleed effects?
So basically to stab someone so they bleed and it inflicts damage on them.
Probably not.
I wouldn't have thought so. Isn't there something in ancient magics which makes someone bleed after you've...
No, I don't think so.
there
I think
isn't. I'm
the
imagining that.
smoke barrage poisons, but that's about
Okay.
it.
I don't think we're doing anything like bleed, to be honest.
Will Zeah drain population from the current skilling areas?
There's only so many people in the game, so there's got to be some people that actually go to Zeah. I think like the term drain population is a bit divisive. Certainly there'll be a movement of traffic in the amount of people playing the game so they can experience the new content like they would with any other content. The fact that it's on a different part of the map doesn't mean that it's less old school than other areas of the map. We've essentially introduced it to old school, so it's part of old school. But in answer to your question, there's always going to be people that want to play the game in a specific way and aren't going to want to change because new content's come around. So those people are still going to want to interact with the existing content. So I can't really see too much of an issue.
Can we have an option to change long and basic boots at the clothing store? So basically people who spawn in the game choose how their feet look like and they can never ever change their feet from that point on. Probably going to have to ask Ash that question because we can obviously, well, we can't really do anything from a graphic point from that stage. Will there be new jewellery and will there be half decent? I don't know actually.
Yeah, I should think there will be new jewellery.
Yeah.
We did want to do something with crafting with House Archaeus, but there's not House Hosidius, the farming house. So it was going to be like a crafting house as well. We'll probably have to wait till a later release though. There will be new stuff for Karen coming out with each of these releases as well. We're not just going to leave it as like Karen's done now. But Phase 2 will be raids, and Phase 3 will be the massive Colosseum / Slayer update, PvP, PvM, Battle Royales and things like that.
Yeah.
That just sounds like a bunch of buzzwords, doesn't it? I hate it when I have to talk like that.
Yeah, and you can expect the first batch to come out on January 7th. So yeah. Are you the ones who will create lore for Zeah? The whole team will pitch in and we'll all make the lore for Zeah, but I think at the moment Matt is creating most of the lore, especially for the library.
Yeah, Matt is
Archaeus.
creating a lot of the lore. I think as well though, because us in particular, we have to make it, we'll have a creative idea and say, hey, does this fit into the lore? Matt will say yes or no, and then we'll say, could we possibly make a change here or there, and he'll just decide whether or not that's okay. So we do have some insight into how things go, but ultimately the decision on various different lore stories is going to be left with Matt.
Gareth, someone's asking if...
Gareth, one person. Oh, explain why it's blue. I don't want to keep using purple throughout the environment. There's going to be blues and greens and reds and purples in Archaeus. So I'm making it blue just because it's going to be the most generic colour for them. There'll be grey ones as well. There'll be ones wearing purple. It's going to vary.
Can you... Sorry. I just found a really funny question. Can you make it so I can change the size of my character? I want to be fat as... Asterisk. The thing with that is that we'd have to go, we have to take every model and then...
It's hilarious.
It is
You interrupted me for that. Never mind.
We'd have to edit every single model and extrude the stomach bit out, which, yeah, that is a long process. How do you guys come up with the name Zeah? Is it based on real life events or a real city? And is that how other names are thought of?
I can't answer that. I didn't come up with the name.
Yeah,
So
I think
don't know.
initially it was Modreach who came up with the name. Oh, something's gone wrong with the stream.
Are we okay?
I don't know.
You keep saying nothing's gone wrong.
Oh, he said rip. Okay,
Ah.
probably a joke. I don't know.
You keep saying that. I'm like, what's gone wrong? That was a weird noise I just made. That's immortalised on YouTube now as well, isn't it?
Do you think the NPC should resemble the colour of the gems/shards in the area?
Yeah, we'll do. There's going to be lots of gems shards that we are going to be doing that are of various different colours. I don't think it should match it directly because a lot of the characteristics of this place are going to be fleshed out by things contrasting against each other. So if we've got like greenhouses, green crystals, green NPCs, green stairs, green props, they're not. That's not what you're saying. I know. I'm not being facetious, but if that were the case, as an extreme example, obviously nothing will be visible. So what we do is we try and keep things roughly the same colour, but vary them enough and map down a collection of colours per particular area so everything contrasts. So it's a bit of a balancing act as we go. So this NPC might not even end up blue. It could be, it could have grey robes to make sure it completely stands out from everything that's surrounding it. And I could just colour the eyes and the trims on the outfit if I wanted. So it just depends how things go. But for now, it's just going to serve a purpose to actually give the model colour before the stream ends.
Sorry about that, guys. If you're having buffering issues right now, if you just want to bear with us, we'll try and fix that. Try and refresh your page, that might work. Someone asked, will we see witch doctor masks in Zeah? I don't know if we'll see witch doctor masks, but we have an idea of putting gas masks on everyone in the Loverking area because of how much sulfur there is in that area. I think that'd be pretty cool if that was a cosmetic item for players to wear as well. But
I'd really like to make it so people have to wear the gas mask in that area.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a bit of mining equipment.
And if you don't, you probably get injured or you get hurt continuously.
Yeah, I kind of like the idea of that. Whether or not it would go through, I don't know, but certainly the people that live there are going to be, they will have grown up there. They're not just passing through like you, so they need to take precautions to make sure they don't get whatever lung problem we decide to give them.
Yeah, it won't be the same gas mask you get from Plague City. It will be a brand new one, a better looking one. Any new info on the bosses? Don't really have any more information on the bosses, but it will be a skilling boss and you'll have to kill it using different types of skills.
Are you on about the Winter Tods?
Yeah, I think that's the boss.
That's going to be in a snowy region above where you can currently see that we've mapped on Zeah, and it'll be a big mountainous area, and it will be run by the heads of House Archaeus, and they'll be the people that are trying to subdue this creature and stop it from coming down from the mountains, because obviously they're in the closest proximity, so they would suffer the most casualties. And you're going to be earning points for your house and also some rewards which will be decided and polled at the time for helping them out. And you'll be using various skills like fire making is probably the one that we're going to be going with most enthusiastically, just to give fire making a bit more of an interesting use than just lighting logs in a line. Any more?
Will Tarn Razalor have anything to do with the necromancers, as he is a necromancer himself? If he's a necromancer, I don't know who he is, to be honest, because I don't do quests in Old School, I just PK, but if he's got something to do with necromancy, we'll definitely find some lore for him and get him included in there.
Yeah, it makes sense. They might refer to him in like a derogatory fashion and look down upon him, because they're kind of like scholars of necromancy. But yeah, Alfred's right, we'll try and include it to make it consistent. I like the idea that we're kind of including things from the mainland as well continually throughout all this content.
Someone asked, will one defense pures be able to wear some of the new Zeah armor? Personally, I'd like to see that, but I'm not sure what the requirements will be for the new armors. That's something we're going to have to ask Matt.
Yeah, I honestly don't know.
Because the stats aren't out for that yet either.
No.
I think. What program do you use to animate these models?
This one, unfortunately. We'll be showing you some animation as we sort of move on to that in the later weeks. It's very difficult to animate in this. We don't even have skeletons that we use. We don't have any physics, so we have to do everything keyframe by keyframe, which is why animation in Old School Runescape never really looks quite as accomplished as other games. But I suppose it has a certain charm to it.
Will the new armor's weapons introduced on Zeah be usable in the mainland? If so, how will they be relevant with displacing current tiers? I don't think they'll ever replace current tiers. You can use them just like, say, I don't know, they'll probably be the same or just as good. So it'll be your choice whether you want to use that weapon or the weapon that's just as good. And yeah, you can definitely use it on the mainland. It won't just be restricted to Zeah. What music is on in the background? Blackmail, to a mix of their album, of their songs. Will we get Zeah in Deadman mode? Yes, you will. Everything that gets released in the main game will come out in Deadman mode. Okay, Alfred, did you see my tweet on cursed weapons? I haven't. If you want to retweet me, I'll read it when I come off the stream.
What are cursed weapons?
I'm not sure. Can you explain what cursed weapons are, Danny? Or might be a cool idea.
You share it with the rest of the chat then.
Yeah. When will the drop rate be able to? When will be what? Okay, when will the drop rate be released for the 4 new skilling pets? That's something that John always does. He releases the.
I don't think he's a fan of really releasing drop rates on anything anyway.
No.
Yeah, he'll do it like after the content's come out.
Fair enough.
But it's not very often that he'll actually do it before the content comes out, and he usually has like a 2-week period before he'll release any information like that.
Yeah, it's been 2 weeks. That's why I think.
Oh, is that what people are asking?
Yeah.
My bad. Sorry.
Soon, we'll give you the information on that soon.
So, I'm going to throw you a curveball. What colour should this be, if not blue? What should we do it? I'm kind of fancying going into the greys now. We've got like the basic appearance of it fleshed out. I think we need to start thinking about what colour it should really be. What could it? Yeah, we've written it in chat.
Cool.
Blue, pink, yellow, purple, purple. Purple. Wow, people like purple.
Red, black, green.
Purple's winning at the moment.
Yellow. Neon pink.
Neon pink. I can't do that. I'm sorry. I'd like to help you out there. Purple. Everyone's going for purple at the moment. So.
Blood red.
Dark red. Dark red. If it helps everyone, there will be green variants and purple variants and red variants that are assigned to the various different altars.
Red and black.
Red and black.
That'd be probably.
I really want red and black.
Cool,
Shazin's got.
Yeah,
everyone in
Shazin's
Shazin's going to be red and black though, so we can't really go there. Dark grey, dark grey,
dark
green.
orange.
Dark orange? No,
that wouldn't fit.
Novocaine's got all the oranges, hasn't it?
I think dark grey. A lot of people are saying dark grey.
I think dark grey as well. I'm not too keen on purple, guys. Sorry, there's been a lot of purple in the past year. I'm starting to get a name for myself. Okay, so let's select the blue. Select that colour. Let's go for a dark grey. See how dark grey looks. Okay, that's looking better already.
Yeah, that's not nice.
Okay.
If you guys got any more questions that you want to ask us, fire away. Someone's just joined and he's asking what you're creating.
This is going to be one of the elders for House Archaeus. It's a house that resides on Zeah. It's a house of necromancers, and this guy is a necromancer himself.
Someone asked, how extended are your hours whilst designing and prepping for this major update?
I don't know if we can really discuss hours because of European working time directives. Yeah, so we can't really do that.
Yeah. Long hours. Anyway.
Yeah, they are long, but we stick within the European working time directives.
Yeah.
We never go outside of those, ever.
Who will make the new music for all the new areas? Would you guys consider hiring a dedicated composer for Old School?
The music department for RS3 has actually offered their services for Zeah, so we're going to be giving them a few tracks, which they're going to be creating for us, custom tracks for, I think it's one for each house and potentially one for the centre of Corrend as well.
Yeah. Ash makes some music as well, doesn't he?
Ash also makes music, he does. I think
really
he's got so much to do at the moment that he wants to kind of hand some of the workload over to someone else as well.
Someone asked when Zeah will be released. The first batch will be released on January 7th, and then we'll release batches 6 months after that, continuously. Will there be faster methods to obtain herbs on Zeah? No, nothing will be faster, everything will be the same, just a better or funner way of doing it. What are the main influences of the designs of Zeah so far? I think for Novocaine, the main kind of design of it is kind of a Bioshock theme, isn't it, like you said?
Yeah, in a way. I don't know if we're going to have time to do it though now.
No.
The theme of things is essentially what I come in the morning and think of, really,
Yeah.
isn't it? And just go, well, we've got to do something now. Let's get it done. So I don't really have time to think. Sorry if that's a bit of a rubbish answer. Well, I suppose we just go off our design documents and think what pops into our head when someone says a word, and then just make it like that. But other than that, I can't really give more information.
Pepsi or Coke?
Neither. Oh, that needs to end.
Yeah. I like Diet Coke. It's about the only Coke I like. Where did the initial idea for Zeah come from? I'm not really sure, but if I had to make a guess, I'd say that we wanted a new continent and we wanted new things to be put in it, and we didn't think there'd be enough space on the current continent, so we thought, why not make a large new continent and put all the things that we can't fit on the current continent on this continent? There you go.
That'll do. That's the reason.
Can we get core pet into core pet? Yes, we can. Not at the moment though, probably sometime next year, early next year. The reason why it's not so easy is because the corp is so detailed. We'd have to lower it down so much that you'd get loads of clipping like Gareth showed earlier. When you scale something down so much, all the verts collide into each other and it just looks really bad and noisy. So I'd have to go in and retopologize everything. It'd probably take a few days or a day even, whatever.
I think that'd take a lot longer than a day.
Yeah,
should
probably.
do. I think
especially because if we're going to have to re-rig it, we might have to, because there probably won't be enough polygons on it to use the existing rig.
I didn't have to re-rig the abyssal scion too much. I didn't have to re-rig that at all, really. So we can get away with things without re-rigging them, but just figuring out how that's going to be done is really time consuming.
Especially because it's going to be so small.
Yeah.
Oh, for something so big, like crazy. Make the corp pet bigger than other pets. The thing is with that, we can only make pets one by ones, for the exception of
Calfight
Queen.
Yeah.
And even then, I think that clips into stuff, which isn't good. We don't want stuff clipping.
We don't want to force something to be something that it can't be. Yeah. We can't use it in the menagerie either, which causes a complication.
Can you not use it in a menagerie?
Not if it's a 2x2. No, it has to be 1x1. Did you just call it a menagerie?
Menagerie. Menage.
I watched YouTube back and see a menagerie.
No. Are you going to do any graphic updates such as round heads, updates on monster NPCs or weapons and armor? I don't think we're going to change any of the existing content. Simply because, and even if we did, we'd have to put that up for a poll because so many people like the way how Old School looks at the moment. If we go around changing things like rune helms, people aren't going to be happy.
Yeah, we definitely can't do that. It's not so bad when we introduce new items if they look slightly different or a bit more polished, but when we actually go around affecting things that people have in their bank and when they log in they see it's changed because we thought it'd look cooler, that's not a good reason to go changing stuff, and it will just end up getting on people's nerves. Yeah. And that's not really what we want to do. It's not the aim of the computer game industry in general to alienate its target audience by getting on their nerves.
Exactly.
Right, so this is the Elder. I'd say he's more or less done. You will see these guys levitating around the place. Their arms will be in this position and folded together. I think I'll do some more detailed hands so that they can gesticulate when they talk to you. They will be very cool. This looks very basic at the moment. I'll post something up on YouTube after I've really polished the design over, and that'll give you a real feel for what it's going to look like in game. But I shouldn't think it'll be in its basic format. It won't be too much different from this, so it's a good representation of what you can expect for the Arceus Elders. Okay, cool. Nice. Thanks, Ben. Awesome. Right, so I suppose I'll show you. I'll just save this quickly. So file folders.
Will you release the missing combination staffs like Dust Battle Staff and Mist Battle Staff? If we do, it will probably come out with Zeah. We don't have any we don't have any plans on releasing that anytime soon, so no.
So just here. I've got to find this file. I'm just trying to find the armor that we're releasing on Zeah to see if I can just hunt that out. I can't remember for the life of me where I saved it. It's somewhere. It'll be fine. This isn't a very exciting part of the stream, so I need to hurry up and get on with things. I think what I'll do is I'll just show you the altars that we saw earlier. I won't show you that kit. I'll find it for next week. It'll be a lot easier. So this is for people that have kind of missed the assets that we showed earlier. So we've got the blood altar, which you can see just here. That'll feature in the Arceus area on Zeah, and that's where you can create your blood runes. Actually, let's show them all on the same screen at the same time. It'd be nicer than deleting them.
Sorry, somebody asked, why do you feel there is a need to add items that are more graphically complex than older content?
I don't think this is more graphically complicated. It's got the same poly count. It's just not complicated. It's just done with tools that are a lot more precise. So instead of messing around in this tool trying to straighten things up and desperately finding it, too time-consuming to be so precise, we've now got tools like 3ds Max. So I can create something like this in 3ds Max a lot faster and a lot more efficiently and a lot more accurately. So they just tend to look better.
And also, different artists model differently, so everyone's going to have a different art style.
That's it, yeah.
And not everything's going to look exactly the same as old school.
If you look across old school, it's just like you go to one area, it looks so drastically different from the last.
Exactly.
Especially if you look at RS3 now, that's just insanely different all the way across, isn't it? You can go to some areas like Keldagrim and it just looks so back in the past, it's practically old school anyway. Yeah. Cool, so this is the soul altar just here. Just let you look around that. All of these altars will move in some regards, like the light on here will sort of like glow and sort of like almost emanate from it as opposed to just be sitting there. This vortex portal on the altar here will rotate round as well. And I'll just load in the dark altar as well. Okay, and with the dark altar you can see kind of like all the light shine through and actually refracted onto the bottom just here. That's why it's kind of like starry and sort of cut up into lots of different triangular areas. And it doesn't actually emit light. What it does, it absorbs all of the light around it, so it's surrounded by an area of shadow, which is why all of the Arceus areas in-game, if we're still in-game, we're not in-game, are actually immersed in shadow and darkness because of this dark altar.
People are asking why it's not round like other altars. I think to gain access to these altars, we will obviously have a big round stone like all the other altars do, but once you're inside and you're making these runes, you have to use these. And obviously it's Zeah, we want new content, but...
The dark altar, someone's asking in chat, what that does is it corrupts a rune essence which you can mine from a nearby area and turns it into dark rune essence, which can then be used to make soul runes and blood runes, and can be used in the necromancy expansion to the prayer skill. So you'll get the necromancy spellbook and you'll be able to combine all these new runes and rune essence with bones of NPCs and other artifacts and raise them from the dead using necromancy and kill them for prayer experience. And so that's what all this is going to be building towards. Looks like a plunger. It does look like a plunger, doesn't it? I want that plunger for my house.
A blood plunger.
I could rave with that plunger. Just get some lights and a disco ball in the bathroom. It'd be grand. Yes, there will be a new spellbook. Did I say prayer book?
No, you did.
Sorry, I meant spellbook, but it's related to the skill prayer, not the skill magic. Feels good. Okay, cool. Right, I think we're actually going to bring the stream to a close there. We've done some modelling today. We did the Arceus Elder, which you can see just here. That'll be the inhabitants of Arceus. And we've also shown you the new altars as well, which I can't get back to. Can't even undo on this program.
No.
It's horrendous. Okay.
Minimum of 5 undos.
That's it. Okay, thank you all very much for watching, and we hope you tune in next week for some more information on Zeah. But before we leave, I'd just like to let you know about Block and Load, which will be having its stream at 7 o'clock tonight, and that is
8 o'clock.
Oh, God, don't time fly. Sorry, guys. 8 o'clock tonight, and you can watch that. It's a free-to-play first-person shooter, and it's a fantastic game, so we encourage you all to go over and give it a watch. Have we posted the host in chat? We can post you the host just here as well. Oh, this is not very slick, is it?
All right.
There we go.
Cool.
Cool. Right, if Alfred wants to press the button on the screen, which brings up the sort of...
The Finny.
Yeah.
If I can find it.
It's on that
This
screen,
one?
Alfred. Oh boy.
There
We
we
need
go.
to educate you. Fun.
There we go.